Hi, grade 7. This is your video for lesson 2-8A, which you'll find on page number 97. And the assignment for y'all is numbers 4 through 14. Well, I'm going to get you started on the very first problem. It says a tank is draining at a rate of 8 gallons every 3 minutes. If there are 70 gallons in the tank, when will the tank have just 22 gallons left? Okay. If you look on the previous page, page number 96, they have a similar style problem there. And their suggestion is to create some sort of a table to work towards the answer. And I'm in agreement on that. I think that's a good way of doing this. From the problem we just read, we know that the tank starts off at 70 gallons. And it has 70 gallons at 0 minutes, doesn't it? At the start of this situation. Now, the book says that it's draining or losing 8 gallons every 3 minutes. So 3 minutes later, how many gallons would it have? Wouldn't it have 62 gallons? The book says it's losing 8 gallons for every 3 minutes, right? 6 minutes later, another 3 minutes. How many gallons is it going to have? Isn't it going to have 54 gallons? Because you have to subtract another 8 gallons from the previous number? Yep. About 3 minutes later, 9 minutes. How many gallons will it have? Well, wouldn't that be 54 minus the 8, which would be 46 gallons? Yes, it would. How far do you got to keep this going? Look at the problem. The problem says at the very end, when will the tank have just 22 gallons left? You need to keep this going until you get down here to 22 gallons. I don't know how far you're going to have to go with that. But you need to keep it going until you get down to 22 gallons, and there will be a time over here. That time will be the answer. Okay? Let's go on to number 5. The names of musical notes form a pattern. Name the next 3 notes in the following pattern. The notes that they list are whole note, half note, quarter note. Whole note, half note, quarter note. In the world of music, this is the actual way they draw them. Whole note, half note, quarter note. Well, what's another way to say a whole of something? Another way of saying a whole of something. Another way of saying a whole of something is 1 over 1. Right? 1 over 1 is the entire of something. They want us to continue whatever pattern is happening here for number, what problem is this? Number 5, right? So, what's happening? Times 2, times 2, times 2. What would be the next number? 8th note. And they want you to continue this pattern 2 more times after this. They want this, this, and this as your answer. And they want it in word form, not fractional form. So how do you do that? Well, we write this, half, and we write this, quarter, and this is an 8th, right? So that's one of your answer, an 8th note. Okay? E-I-G-H-T-H. E-I-G-H-T-H, note. What would be the next note after that? Well, you need 2 more answers, continuing this pattern. 1, 2, 4, 8. Continue the pattern. Okay, let's move on to number 6. Rafael is taking a vacation. His plane is scheduled to leave at 2:20 p.m. He must arrive at the airport at least 2 hours before his flight. It's going to take him 45 minutes to drive from his house to the airport. When is the latest he should plan to leave for the airport? Isn't this one of these problems where you have to work backwards? That's what I would do. That's what I would do. So, what do we know? The plane takes off at 2:20. And it says p.m. We got to keep that in mind. That's 2:20 in the afternoon, p.m. Okay? And it says he has to arrive at the airport at least 2 hours before his flight. So he wants to get there 2 hours before. And then it says it's going to take him 45 minutes to drive from his house to the airport. So you got to go back another 45 minutes, right? And right here, that's going to be the time where he has to leave his house. And by the way, just by looking at this, do you think that's going to be AM or PM by the time he leaves his house? If you said AM, I agree with you. Whatever number this is, it's going to be in the AM zone because you're backing up 2 hours and 45 minutes from this time. Okay? Number 7. What is the total number of rectangles of any size in the figure below? Of any size. Now that sometimes trips people up until I show them something. This is a drawing of what you have in your book. And what I say to people is, first of all, figure out how many rectangles there are of this size in this shape. Then figure out how many rectangles there are of this size in that shape, right? Then figure out how many of this size there are in this shape. Then figure out how many there are of this size in the shape. Do you see what's happening? There's a lot of different sizes of shapes in this particular problem. And finally, how many of them are there that are of this size? Well, I'm going to do maybe some of these, but I'm not going to do all of them. How many of them are there that are 6 blocks in size? Well, that's pretty easy, I think. There's just one of them that's 6 blocks of size. How many of them are that are this size? Well, there's 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? I wonder if there's a pattern in all of this. How many of them are there that are 2 of a size? Well, there's these 2. That's 1. These 2. That's 2. These 2. That's 3. These 2. That's 4. And these 2. That's 5. There's 5 of them that are 2 in size. 5 of them that are 2 in size. I wonder if there's a pattern there. Okay. Well, I've helped you so far with 4, 5, 6, and 7. Hopefully you've paid attention. I'm going to stop at this point. I might help you with a few more later on tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good day.